Hi, I'm Geoff Field, I'm age 50 and I work at Today FM as a newsreader. At the moment I'm working for Hamish and Andy and Fifi and Jules in the afternoon. I witnessed bullying when I was at high school, and there was one girl who was overweight and she copped a really hard time. I tried to help her out, but unfortunately there weren't many other people who were also willing to befriend her. They wanted to be with a cool gang, and she had a really hard time. Now, a lot of you probably know I'm gay, duh. I hid my sexuality. Well, homosexuality was illegal when I was at high school. You could be thrown in jail for being gay. So I led a double life, and that was pretty hard because you had to listen to people making jokes about poofters and laugh along in some cases. I know that sounds hideous, but to be part of the gang or to be accepted, that's what you had to do. I even had girlfriends, and it was very hard actually. It tore me up because you were basically not yourself. And it's great to see that things over the years have changed. I know there's still a lot of problems and a lot of people who suffer with their sexuality, suffer with bullying, but things are improving, and I think they are getting a lot better because it's discussed and it's a much more open subject than when I was at school all those years ago. I was very fortunate in the fact that I hid my sexuality right through my school years. So I wasn't really bullied because people didn't know, which might seem strange hearing this coming from me, Sydney's gay newsreader. But when I was at high school, I wasn't out, and I had a good circle of friends, and I was very lucky. I was extremely lucky I wasn't bullied. And I know other gay people that were bullied because they were, how can you say this, they were maybe more effeminate or more flamboyant than I was, and they did get a hard time. And I suppose I tried to stick up for them where I could, but it's very hard being in a group situation and you just want to be one of the gang. But that's the way it was back then, yeah. I've been out since, I was a young man, but coming out on radio and telling the world that I had a partner, Jason, and just being treated like anyone else, even though we did have a bit of fun with the gay newsreader tag and all the rest of it, that was all in good fun. And we did manage to have a gay wedding, even though we called it an illegal gay wedding because we wanted to get the point across. Look, it was a cathartic experience, just being able to talk on the radio about what I did with Jason on the weekend. While the other hosts talked about what they did with their partners, I could talk about my life, and I never had anyone hassle me about it, still to this day. No one's come up to me on the street and say anything nasty. In fact, people are really, really good, straight and gay people, and I would highly recommend coming out or being yourself. Just be yourself. You've got nothing to fear, because leading a double life is, I think, very, very debilitating. You're constantly thinking, what act am I going to do next? Thinking, what will they think? Do they suspect? Don't do that. There's no reason to, because being gay or being different is nothing to fear. Just be yourself. I would say, be yourself. Do not be intimidated by anyone you work with or anyone you go to school with. If they don't like who you are, bad luck. That's their problem. It's not yours. Your real friends will like you for who you are. Now that sounds easier than it actually is. I know that. Like, I have met gay people, I've met straight people that have been bullied at school and in the workplace, and it can be a very, very tricky situation. Like, you know, you can go and see the principal could say you're overreacting, or you could go and see the boss and they could say you're just being touchy, whatever. But you have to speak up, because in the end, I believe good people win. So I think you have to be honest, you have to be true to yourself. Don't hide anything. Be yourself. And if people don't like it, that's their problem. And if they give you grief for it, there are now so many ways to fix that problem. Maybe just talk to them. If that doesn't work, see someone in authority. And if that doesn't work, the courts and the legal system has now introduced laws and powers to stop people intimidating and bullying other people. And that's a great thing. And I think more and more people are becoming aware of that fact. And I think that's great, because people that are bullies are going to think, oh, I might get in trouble for this, so I better ease off. And the victims themselves know that there is recourse, and they know that they don't have to put up with that crap. So I think it's a good thing that there is more awareness when it comes to this really important issue that has ruined a lot of lives in the past and still continues to ruin lives. But the good thing is, awareness is growing, and I do believe we are getting on top of this horrible problem that can be so debilitating for so many people. I did address a meeting of gay youth a couple of years ago, and there was a knock at the dressing room door from a guy that said he wanted to have a chat with me. And I had a chat with him, and he said, "Geoff, I'd listen to you on the radio, the breakfast show, every morning with my dad going to school. And he said, you gave me courage to be myself at school because people knew who you were and they liked you. And I also actually had the courage to come out and tell my dad one morning while we were listening to you on the radio, you were doing something silly, which I did often, and he was having a laugh, and he told his dad that he was gay. And he said it was such a relief, and he said that I helped inspire him to tell his dad the truth, and it all worked out well. Him and his dad are best of friends. There's been no fallout. And I realise that doesn't happen in all cases. I realise we still have a way to go in society, but that was a great thing. That was a young guy that had the courage to come out and tell his dad. And things worked out really well, and he's doing really well now. We keep in contact, and that's an example of how being yourself can be a freeing experience. I'd like you to become a community brave mentor, because we can help change the world, honestly.